Hello my turtles, and welcome back to another video with me, Foxfoot Crafts. Today's video, we are going to be making yet another Father's Day card. I have my paper cut to size to fit my envelope. And of course, I am going to add my stamp to the back first thing so it has the chance to dry before we get started on the front of the art. Once we have the card stamped, I will go ahead and get to work. Like most of my Father's Day cards, it is going to be a bird portrait. As I'm sure many of you know, I really enjoy getting to draw birds, and hopefully my father enjoys them as well. I sure hope so, because I feel like I draw him and my mother a lot of birds, as y'all have seen from my channel. So, birds it is. And just gonna go through and using a number 2 pencil. I tried using my blue pencil there, if you noticed at the beginning, and it just wasn't showing up on this cardstock. I don't know what exactly it was about the cardstock itself, but the blue ink didn't want to show up. So I just moved on to a regular old number 2 pencil. And I'm just gonna go through and kind of map out a rough sketch of the bird. With my bird pieces, I don't like to go into super heavy detail when it comes to the initial sketch. I find that if I try to do my detailing with the number 2 pencil, I end up getting into my own head and then erasing and redoing and erasing, and ultimately just getting frustrated with it. So I prefer to do most of my details at the end when I am adding the coloring. It's still important to have an idea of, you know, this is where shading is going to be, these are where different parts are, this is where different feather textures are. So I do try to make sure I map all that out with my initial pencil sketch. But as y'all will see, once I get into coloring, I will really hit up the details. Now that I have my sketch completed, I will go through and get to work on my coloring. A lot of times, one of the things that takes the longest when I'm doing an art piece is color selection. I have a lot of different markers, and so it's a lot of sifting through boxes and bags of markers to try to find the right ones. And so when I make these videos, there is a lot of cropping out that I have to do, of where it's me just digging through a box of pencils, digging through a box of markers, and I apologize for any of those that I ever miss. So sometimes you may see where it's just, well, what is she doing in this? It's me digging through a box of markers. When I work with colored pencils, a lot of times I have to sharpen a pencil, come back, do a little bit of work, sharpen a pencil, come back. So I have to go through when I edit and cut all that out as well, because I'm sure you guys don't want to see 2 hours of me sharpening colored pencils. Or maybe you do. Maybe that's your ASMR. Let me know if that's your thing. If someone out there wants 2 hours of me sharpening colored pencils, you know what? I will make a special compilation for you. As I have stated in multiple videos before, I try to make sure I stay on top of this and that I get to make a Mother's Day card or a Father's Day card every year for my claimed mother and father. I know I say it in like every video, but it is the way that my partner and I kind of function. We meet people that we love and we just claim them immediately. We're like, yep, we have adopted you. You are my father now. You are my mother now. You are my brother. You are my sister. We are terrible about it. And so we just kind of claim people. And so I always kind of bounce back and forth. I'm like, do I refer to them as my adopted parents, my claimed parents, my chosen parents, my chosen family? I'm a big fan of the, like Hollywood trope of like found family and stuff. Like Guardians of the Galaxy was so good because it was just that found family trope. And here at the Fox household, we are big fans of selected family, and so I try to stay on top of it and draw a new piece every year. I do have a lot going on constantly, it seems like, and so sometimes I haven't been able to do a super detailed piece, or a lot of times I will have technical problems where my cameras don't always want to cooperate. I've had computers crash, and so I have not always recorded all of them either. So for some of you who have been fans of the channel for some time who are like, Fox, yeah, I haven't seen cards like these every year. Okay, you got me. But sometimes my technical difficulties have been the reason y'all haven't seen them. Just because you haven't seen them on the channel doesn't mean that they haven't happened. So once I have the marker coloring done, I am going to go through and add a little taped off border. Went ahead and threw a plastic sheet underneath to try to help prevent some of that bleed through. I wish that I had learned this trick much sooner, but you know what? Better late than never. I cannot tell y'all the number of cards that I have made that the marker ink has bled through. So putting that plastic sheet back there kind of helps with that. It also, at least I tell myself, it helps with the color gradient. So in theory, by having that plastic back there, the ink isn't absorbing into the paper behind it. It is going to reabsorb into the paper that I'm coloring on. So helping out with that color gradient. Once I got my colors picked out, I will just go ahead and start coloring that gradient. Gonna go ahead and peel that tape off now. It'll leave a nice crisp border. Moving on to the colored pencils, I have started, I would say, in the past year, incorporating colored pencils on top of my marker art and have been really pleased with the results. It gives it a little bit more depth, and I can do some finer details that I can't necessarily get with the markers, at least that I can't get with the markers easily. I'm sure if I sat there and took my time and looked at color theory videos, I could figure it out, but I am able to get the effects I want much easier, way quicker with the colored pencils on top of the marker artwork. So using both of those skills, both the markers and the colored pencils, help me to achieve what I want in the piece. And with a few more finishing touches, I will go ahead and scan this in so everyone can see it up close. And there we have it, a full Cooper's Hawk for Father's Day. I've thought about putting, something witty or fun on the outside. A lot of times with the Father's Day cards, I do try to make them a little bit of like puns or play on words. So for this one, I was going to go with hawkward, like, oh, it is hawkwardly full of love, because I'm just awful at expressing emotions. But I decided to write on the inside of it and leave the front just really pretty, without the play on words. But as y'all know, we do not share our sentiments of our cards here on our channel, so you'll just have to believe me that it's got something nice written inside. And as always, this is Fox of Foxfoot Crafts. You can find me across other social media platforms. And I hope everyone has a great day, and thanks for tuning in.